bear with me. My name is Parisa. I am a master's candidate in health informatics. I'm also graduating. So half of all adults in the US live with a chronic illness, anything from diabetes, depression, cancer, Crohn's. But you would never know because these illnesses are often invisible. One of my first experiences with invisible illness was when I met another student named Brianna last year. I was shocked because Brianna looked just like me, but her daily experiences managing multiple chronic conditions made her world and her academic experience vastly different. And in the chronic illness space, Brianna, like many other students, was dealing with what we call burnout. And when you're in a big university, you see that there's about 10% of all students drop out, and 64% of them are due to mental or emotional health concerns, whether it's due to physical illness, mental conditions, or otherwise. And this is about $700 million in lost tuition every year. And why is this? So there's a high ratio of undergraduates to mental health providers. There's an increased demand for better health services, but counseling centers are constantly understaffed and overtaxed. But we know that with increased peer support, the more individuals you have in your chronic illness journey, the higher your health outcomes. And that's where Find Your Ditto comes in. We match people who share the same chronic conditions for on-demand, in-person peer support. We're an adjunct resource to mobilize peer-peer support to ease the system burden so that administrators can focus on their most dire student needs. This is mental health spending in the US is very vast, and we're targeting Big 10 universities in the next 5 years and expanding to universities after that. And right now, this spending is not getting to the most critical students. Our launch strategy is a freemium model with universities, and then partnering with universities, selling to university health administrators in healthcare in certain disease-specific clinics, and partnering with local businesses to promote meetups and advertising through them. Our competitors, so right now there's traditional support groups, online platforms like Patients Like Me that do not focus on in-person connection, social media sites like Facebook and Twitter that have formed groups but don't have the privacy where you put your name and photo on a somewhat private topic. And groups like meetup.com where people have started forming communities. But we're trying to be the only on-demand, in-person peer support network. We'll be launching through university health, marketing through university health resources, digital marketing, having campus ambassadors to spread out throughout the nation, and advertising as a resource for students through syllabus and other tools on campus. Our team is myself and my co-founder, Brianna. We have experience in design, implementation, information science, and we are both either dealing with or have been touched by chronic illness. We've done low-tech pilots where we found 90% match rate on university campuses. So we've been matching conditions that are very common, like eating disorders, depression, anxiety, but also rare conditions like dysautonomia, where 1 in 50,000 people are diagnosed. We're ready for our beta launches, which will be happening in the next few months. We have a clinical pilot with Wayne State University with their suicide prevention group, and then endocrinology, connecting diabetes patients, and following that, gunshot victim youth in Detroit, which is an effort to mobilize peer-peer support and that camaraderie aspect, but seeing as violence is high in Detroit in the summertime. So this is clinical data to help us as we prepare for university launches in the fall. While Brianna spent 4 long years without her Ditto, her Me Too, within just a few weeks of launching our pilot, another student living with the same chronic conditions as Brianna signed up. And all it took was having a system like this in place to make it happen. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to create a world where no person living with chronic illness ever has to feel alone and can finally be able to say, it's not just me. Thank you.
right. Thank you, and let's give another warm round of applause to all of our presenters here.